He stretched his legs across her seat, sipping champagne like a king. "People like you don't belong here," he sneered, waving off her boarding pass as passengers laughed and phones recorded. Flight attendants hesitated, too afraid to challenge him, while the humiliation spread down the aisle. But the black woman standing in silence wasn't just another traveler. She was Naomi Carter, CEO of the very airline. And in seconds, the arrogance that filled the cabin would ground the entire flight. The cabin lights glowed warm gold across first class, silverware chimed softly, and the muted thrum of engines pressed a steady heartbeat into the fuselage. Row 1 looked like a billboard for entitlement: linen napkins, champagne, and the kind of laughter that never has to apologize. Naomi Carter reached her row with a calm step and a boarding pass that read 1A. A man sprawled across 1A and 1B like they were his living room. Polished shoes on the footrest, blanket tucked, jacket draped over the armrest like a flag. He didn't even glance up when she stopped. "Excuse me," Naomi said, her voice even. "You're in my seat." He took a sip of champagne and turned, finally, letting his eyes sweep slow and dismissive. "People like you don't sit here," he said. "Gate must have made a mistake. Try the back." Phones lifted. Aisle whispers shifted to record mode. A flight attendant approached with a practiced smile that thinned when she saw Naomi's boarding pass. She leaned toward the man. "Mr. Harlan, we can relocate you to—" "Relocate her," he said, pointing with his flute. "Medical need. I require extra space." Naomi held out her pass. "1A is mine." "Ma'am," the attendant said carefully, "perhaps we can find an alternative seat while we sort this." "Sort what?" Naomi asked. "The alphabet?" Chuckles bubbled from row 2. The man, Harlan, smiled to the audience he believed he owned. "These folks know how this works," he told Naomi. "Status matters. Money matters. Documentation matters," Naomi replied. He took her boarding pass between 2 fingers, glanced at it, and handed it back without touching her palm. "Cute." The attendant's eyes darted to a second crew member. A shrug, a silent retreat. The message was clear. This would be handled the way it's often handled. Not handled. Naomi exhaled, one controlled breath. She set her leather folder on the console and looked at the attendant. "Would you please verify the manifest and seat assignment for Carter, Naomi? Confirmation code B3N74Q? The attendant hesitated, then retreated to the galley tablet. Harlan watched, smirking, then stretched farther into 1A. "I'm serious about the medical thing," he announced to the cabin. "Claustrophobia." Laughter again. The kind that weaponizes air. From 2C, a teenager whispered to her mother. She had 1A. The mother squeezed her hand. "Record everything." The attendant returned with brittle optimism. "Miss Carter, the system does show 1A, but... Naomi's tone did not bend. "Could we seat you in 3F and offer compensation? We're near pushback." Harlan lifted his glass in triumph. "See? Problem solved." A second flight attendant approached. Voice low, urgent. "Captain's asking for cabin secure. We need to close the door." Naomi studied their faces. The flinch, the fear of delay metrics, the calculus that converts dignity into on-time percentages. She nodded once, as if noting the variables. Then she opened her folder. "Since we're referencing systems," she said, "let's use the correct one." She held up a metal card, matte, engraved, unmistakable. Her thumb pressed a recessed chip. The forward galley tablet chimed. The cabin Wi-Fi splash page blinked out, and the cockpit door's status panel flashed, exec channel priority. Harlan's smile stalled. "What did you—" Naomi addressed the crew, her voice carrying with calm authority. "I'm Naomi Carter. I chair the board and serve as Chief Executive Officer of Sky Venture Airlines. Crew, confirm via internal authentication. ID SV0001. The forward attendant swallowed, checked the tablet, and went sheet white. The second attendant looked from the tablet to Naomi, to Harlan, then back, her posture snapping straight. Passengers murmured, then gasped. Phone zoomed. Someone whispered, "She runs the airline?" Harlan laughed too hard, too loud. "Anyone can print a card." Naomi didn't look at him. "Captain, Carter. Execute Protocol Aurora. Hold push. Open secure line to ops and legal. Cabin crew, pause service. Gate agent back on the bridge, now. We will resolve seat assignment by manifest, not by mouth. The captain's voice came through crisp, respectful. Copy, Ms. Carter. Holding position. Bridge returning. Harlan's color shifted from smug to blotched. This is ridiculous. I have a condition. Then you'll need compliance, Naomi said coolly. Medical documentation travels with you, or it doesn't exist when convenient. He tried to stand to loom over her. She did not step back. The returned gate agent moved down the aisle, breathless, meeting the attendant's eye. The screen was held up for Naomi, for the camera lenses, for history. 1A, Carter, Naomi, priority hold. The agent faced Harlan. Sir, your assigned seat is 4D. You must move now. You paid for 4D, Naomi said. You took what wasn't yours and expected applause. He looked around for allies and found only phones. Mr. Harlan, the attendant said, professional, immovable now. Failure to comply will result in removal. He stood. He didn't move. Naomi turned her attention to the crew. Team, listen carefully. This aircraft will depart when two things are true. The manifest is honored, and the cabin is safe. Neither is negotiable. Harlan's anger detonated. You can't ground a flight over a seat? Watch me, Naomi said, then tapped her card again. The overhead displays flicked to a slate blue screen. Cabin hold. Executive review. The collective sigh of 100,000 livestream viewers could have been felt through metal. He cursed under his breath, snatched his jacket, and shouldered toward row 4. A few passengers clapped, quietly at first, then louder. The crew secured Naomi in 1A with a gravity that looked a lot like respect. As the door closed and the jetway pulled away, Naomi leaned toward the lead attendant. We are not wheels up until you brief the cabin. 2 minutes, clear and corrective. The attendant nodded, stepped forward, and faced the phones. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier you witnessed a failure of our duty to verify documentation without prejudice. Our CEO, Ms. Carter, was denied her assigned seat. We apologize to Ms. Carter and to all of you. We will do better, beginning now. A murmur moved through the cabin. Approval, relief, shame in some corners. Naomi felt the engine spool and the aircraft roll. At 35,000 feet, the Wi-Fi returned, -1 user. Harlan's login failed. His screen locked to in-flight conduct advisory. He pounded the touchscreen. Row 4 filmed in delight. Naomi opened a secure channel. Ops were implementing an immediate review, random executive fly-alongs, gate verification audits, and a zero-hesitation escalations rule, published tonight. Legal, prepare statements. HR, flag Mr. Harlan's frequent flyer account for conduct review and a permanent ban pending final report. Copy all, Ops replied. 10 minutes into cruise, hashtags exploded. Hashtag grounded by arrogance, hashtag seat by manifest, hashtag Naomi Carter. Influencers stitched the apology announcement in real time. A pilot from another airline posted, "This is how you do it." When the wheels kissed the runway, 2 uniformed supervisors boarded with airport police. They asked Harlan to step into the jetway for a conduct briefing. He blustered. He went. Naomi remained in 1A until every passenger deplaned. Some paused to thank her, quietly, like a secret they wanted to say out loud. The teenager from 2C looked up with wide eyes. "I saw you stand there," she said, "and you didn't move." Naomi smiled. Sometimes the job is to stand. In the empty cabin, she faced the crew. "We're going to fix this so thoroughly that no one will remember how it used to be. Next time, the process saves the person, not the other way around." The lead attendant's eyes shone. "Yes, ma'am." Outside, press lights chased her to the curb. Naomi spoke once, measured and final. "A seat is not about status. It's about truth. We grounded a flight today to ground a lie. Sky Venture will fly differently tomorrow." By morning, internal memos had become national headlines. Sky Venture announced seat integrity protocols, mandatory manifest checks, and disciplinary standards with teeth. Other airlines signaled they would follow. Harlan resigned from his firm under a storm of public disgust. And in a quiet office high above the runway, Naomi hung a single line on the wall. Honor the manifest. Honor the person. The woman they tried to relocate built an airline no one could move. They mocked her, stole her seat, and laughed in her face until she grounded the entire flight with one move. Hit like, share this story everywhere, and comment which moment shocked you most. Subscribe now and turn on notifications, because this kind of truth can't be ignored.